Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is BMT. Just doing to talk with you guys on some shit. And I'm in a pretty good mood. I'm in a pretty good mood right now. It's the little things. It's the little things that count that go a long way. And what I mean by that is, I made some investments and they're going my way. And I try to tell people like, hey, if you want, hi, Kara. I've been good. Good. And I got a treat for Rice Krispies. Good. I got you later. All right. See you. It's the little things that count that add up to the big ones. Yep. Um, and I think sometimes y'all gotta just be thankful for those little things, man. That's how I found peace. Sometimes when I felt alone, I didn't feel like a lot of things, or I'm like, God dang it, like everybody's getting this and that. You gotta be thankful for the small things that will keep you grounded and sane. And I've 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 started to master how to do that. I started learning how to keep my peace in the midst of the storm. Started learning how to do that, man. You know, and when I started learning how to be thankful for the little things, and I'm not saying lower my standard, but be thankful for the food that comes on your plate, so that way you can digest the bigger things. You know, and as you tell people that, right? As you start telling people that, and some people they don't know how to take you, because they're not easily swayed or influenced by other people say, oh man, they're saying this about you, or they're doing this or doing that. You got to be thankful, yo, for just having that peace. I built me an office, a sanctimonial, a space where I can have my peace. But I think peace is it's a very much a precious and undervalued thing. I learned how to love myself, cherish myself, forgive myself. A lot of people don't learn that lesson. A lot of people don't learn that lesson. And the fact that they don't learn that lesson, they suffer ongoing. You don't have to try to be boisterous or out there about your stuff. Thank you, Glenda. You don't. See all this around me? I'm thankful. I had to learn to be thankful for who I am. I had to learn how to love myself. Ask yourself, do you love yourself? Are you at peace with yourself? Do you put yourself or oversell yourself for things that you don't need to? See, I don't. When people come to me or try to say, "Hey, you need to do this," or "You need to try to do that," I push them out. I push them out of my thinking or out of my zone. I don't gotta do nothing. You don't gotta do nothing. Only person that you need to definitely be worried for, number one, is yourself. And people will say, "Well, that's selfish." No, it's not. It's selfish. Hey, how can you take care of anybody if you can't take care of yourself? How can you put other people on if you can't get your own self and keep your own self on or sustained? This has been an ongoing issue. I sit at home, I say to myself, regardless of, I had a woman say, "Oh, that's little boy, that's little boy stuff." But I can stay to myself. I find peace amongst myself. I ain't out here pressed to be up in nobody's face. I don't need the validation of a woman or a man. That's little boy stuff. Granted, when I was hearing this from a woman, this is from a woman who never held down a man. See, you gotta sometimes question the doctrine of where the message is coming from. Nobody's gonna get on a woman that literally, well, I could sit here, sip my tea, and read my book. Nobody gonna get on that. I don't have no swag or any issue against any man or woman or child that says, I don't mind just playing to myself or doing it on my own. I do good. Granted, I get we try to sell the dream, but let them have that momentary of peace. There's got to be something going on with a person that literally needs certain interaction. See, when you're by yourself, you get to hear and see and feel everything you're trying to shut out. I'm cool. I'm cool. I don't try to make myself believe. There's no need for that. Ask yourself the question, what are y'all trying to get yourselves to believe nowadays? What are y'all trying to get yourself to try to understand? What profit does a man have to gain of the weight and the riches of the world than to lose his own soul? So you would run it all to gain that of the love of a world that has no love for you. And we know this is true. Some of y'all worry about what Cynthia G says. Some of y'all worry about what other people, like just using the name Brian, Triple X. I know y'all gonna say, well, BNT, don't you worry about what people say? Not really. I don't. Because at the end of the day, I'm my own man. If you ain't paying my bills, you ain't feeding my family, you ain't doing nothing for me, then I don't know. Tell you, you got your words have no weight. They don't in my kingdom. Y'all talking about educating boys. I'm like, bro, educate your sons first. If you got a son, work on the things that's closer to you. Stop with all this camaraderie talk. How you can talk about camaraderie talk and you won't do it yourself? You won't put your own feet down. See, I don't mind doing it by myself because who better to make sure to chastise me than me? This is why when y'all be saying, well, the women are going to need the men. No, you sound like you need the woman. If I need a woman for a job, I'll call for a woman for a job. Other than that, no, I'm not pressed. I'm just not. You feel me? I'm not the richest man. I'm not the smartest man, but I'm comfortable with my own skin. What's up, L Nixon? Some of y'all brothers and sisters need to learn. Some of y'all need to learn how to be on your own and do y'all and put in the work. This is why I don't. This is why I haven't been yearning to be on panels. This is why I haven't been aching to hear my voice be heard. For what? You got common sense. Why don't you sit down and shut up and actually, for once, listen to yourself? And if you truly believe in what you say you believe in, why ain't you successful? I'm living in success. I sustain myself. I ain't have it easy, and Lord knows it ain't come easy, but it's mine. I'm eating good. I'm not pressed about that. Of what about these women? Well, then go find a woman that can fit your design. These women ain't trying to work with you. No, the women that you looking at ain't trying to work with you. You know, this is the thing about it. This thing, let me explain for you. For those, if you never bought a house before, right? Let's say you try to buy a house, but your credit don't match that of that house you want. Now, either you can have the capital you need, or if you don't have the capital you need, you can always do the other and get your credit up. So you either have the cash or you have your credit up. Now, a lot of y'all are in that predicament. You want certain access to men or women, but you're not in that design. See, I wanted an even better home. But the question was I within that design? Was I at that level yet? And yes, I still need work on my credit. I'm still doing things that I would like to have done. There's stuff in my life. When I get to one goal in my life, I look to go build up with another. When I get one place in my life, see, I'm fine with being a geek. I'm fine with working with self discipline. I'm fine with chastisement. I'm fine with self improvement. See, I chastise and get on myself more harder than anybody else does. Some people say, man, you're too hard on yourself, man. You're doing good. But I'm like, I could do better. I can reach higher heights. There's always room for improvement. You want to be the best? You want to be the best. That means you have to keep on going at it. The thing is, the only person that can beat me is me. Shout out to Ami. It was one of the greatest animes I ever watched, Kuroko no Basket. I one day I'm gonna have to do a talk about him. He would say the only one who can beat me is me. I thought that was one of the hardest things I ever heard somebody say. Because he would literally be playing against himself. It got to the level where all he knew was competing against himself. And sometimes that is your best competitor, yourself. This is why I said I'm thankful for the small things that I do that lead up to the big ones. This is why I'm thankful for the small things. But the small things add up to the big ones. You know, sometimes y'all, I get it. Sometimes y'all want that relevancy of acceptance. Y'all want to be getting that pat on the back, but sometimes you don't need that. You know, when I'm in the gym and I'm working out and I'm hitting the bag, I always wonder to myself, can I punch faster? And I want to hear praise, but I tell myself, nah, man, you don't need to have to hear somebody say good job. I know some of y'all like say, well, it would be nice. Yeah, it would be. But it'd be a lot more sweeter. It'd be a lot more sweeter to just have to understand that you know what? You don't need that energy all the time. You can have your own goddamn energy. I used to always think, I used to always think um, I needed to have to hear some type of praise, uh, some type of, some type of praise, some type of uh, achievement. There we go. Sorry about that. Like y'all got to start being thankful for the little wins, man. Y'all got to start realizing the good things that you're doing and let those add up to the big one. Everybody like talking about Tulsa, Tulsa, Tulsa. But those were micro instances that came up together. Y'all talk about generational legacy, but y'all don't do nothing for that moment. Like live your moment that would add up into something that is fit to say and cry out and say that's a legacy. I know sometimes I sound crazy, and I'm at peace with that, man. Maybe these are conversations I have with my sons. You know, maybe I'm just trying to speak too much sense. And when you do try to talk to people, and they're like, "Man, what are you talking about?" Because these are the instructions of something for someone who has had time to self-assess and evaluate themselves, who can chastise themselves openly, say, "Hey, that was wrong. Do better. Move better." I do that. I'm one of my hardest critics because I always see that, you know what? maybe I could have done that better. I will do that better, and I can be better. You already, I ain't have a good friend like you, bro. These are self-assessed lessons that some of y'all, I'm not sure if y'all are getting. Y'all like to see war, but y'all don't want to actually, but you don't understand that you may be the weakest link. And it's not off of something about who has the most money, who has the most money, or who looks or has the most sexual access and also. It's not based on that, man. What we're talking about, what we're talking about is that of the notion of, do you want better? Are you trying to be better? I used to hang with very toxic, bad people, but I felt like that was all I deserved. I felt like this is keeping it real. When actually all I was doing was lying to myself. I was lying to myself because I was not doing better than what I could be doing. Then I started meeting people that were not bound by materialism, but by ethic, a moral standing code. I had a friend, a Sunni. He's one of my good friends. I used to tease him because all he loved wearing his sandals. He loved wearing his sandals. And he would always put his hand on my shoulder. And he said, we could be the better men of tomorrow. We could be the better men of tomorrow. We can be better than our fathers. Will you go with me, my friend? He made me dream. He didn't know how to speak English as good as I did, but he had a dream to try. Now he's a great teacher, a good philosopher. He's not just a dreamer. And though people used to pick on him because he wasn't like them, he never stopped trying. I made really good friends that have humbled me into being thankful in the small things. I used to get mad because I wasn't that kid that had the freshest gear. I didn't have the cool car. I didn't have the girls. I didn't have all those things that I hear men today and women yearn for. I got here on my own gusto of hard work. And there are times, I'm telling you, when you bank everything on your life on these monetary things, they can just as easily be taken away. But to have a fellowship of good people in your corner, that is a true gem. I take I take my camaraderie of friendship and things that I do in my life with people that I love and care about very seriously. When people tell me about certain woes that be, the feminism wave, I'm like, dude, there are people in other countries that are being beat, killed, shot, assassinated, all because they choose to fight the powers that be. They choose to fight for the little wins. You don't even want to fight. It's unfair the way that men are. Well, then fight. Fight for what you believe in. Stand by those who stand with you. There's a women's group out there in Africa that literally, you know what I'm saying, they ain't got it easy, but they do the best. Everybody likes talking on the woulda, shoulda, couldas of what we should be doing. But I'm like, just do what you need to be doing. Do what you need to be doing, bro. You worry about the wrong thing. I had somebody tell me, why don't y'all do this in America? Why are you worried so much about what sexual activity Americans do? That's why we jacked up now. All I hear about sexual, how men and women work together. Listen, bro, I'm sorry. That is not the bedrock of society on what everybody is just focused on. Y'all don't believe, you know what? But of course, when you're talking to people who don't build not a damn thing, of course they wouldn't understand that. Because their benchmark is that on sexual proclivity, not on that of just people who are just actually out there sustaining and maintaining. Their target point is off of that of the sexual marketplace and access. You a real man and you fuck like 20 bitches. Really? That's your definition of a man? By how much he can sleep with? You're not a bad woman if you don't got a man with a certain amount of money. So now we're telling the woman that she needs to go after monetary gain rather than actually have a sustainable relationship with a man that, for better or for worse, she will actually hold him down. This is why some of y'all will sell each other out for a heartbeat, man. Some of y'all are slaves to your own goddamn whims, and have no type of structural integrity. And you should be treated as such. You should be. If we honestly ask some of y'all to pull out your lifestyle of how y'all living, would you be proud of it? Would you brag about it? I'm dating a girl that has blah 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 blah. That's your biggest boast, that you have access to a woman. I listen to this fool brag about that. I listen to so much foolish crap from people these days, man. I don't know if y'all can't smell your own cesspool of ignorance and filth. Y'all talk about we need to have a code. No, you need guidance. You just say you need guidance. Like I said, I'm I'm gonna see y'all guys later. All right.